Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, Strat Gamer here, providing you with a very exciting Anno 1800 episode today. And as you can see, we are currently on the Anno1800 website. I will of course post the description below. If you missed some of my previous episode around the Skyscraper devlog and the iLife devlog, don't hesitate to check the series that will appear now at the top. And that was only just 1 week ago. But since then, 4 new blogs have been posted with tons of very important news, from a free weekend, a new game mode, news about season 4, and much more. So do stay tuned to this episode. We will go into all of this in sort of order. So let's start here with the Twitch drop. In that devlog, they were announcing that, like for most of the previous recent DLC, for the High Life DLC, there will be a Twitch drop event where you can get 2 items, 2 ornaments, if you watch 1 hour and then 3 hours across a few different streamers. The main thing is not to get those items. The main thing is that those streamers obviously have early access to the High Life, so you can see the High Life in action with your favorite streamers. And that starts today, August 27th, Friday. Starts today. There is a list of all of the streamers at the bottom. You can see English, Spanish, French, and Germans. Obviously, a lot of the Germans, great players. If you're focusing on the English one, you can see Mr. Elliot, Taka, Astris, Itro, and Kat. I know that Taka is actually not going to stream today on the 27th and only tomorrow, starting Saturday. I do know that Mr. Elliot is going to stream every single day in that period. And to be honest, I don't know too much about the other ones. I will probably try to start with Itro and then move to the other one, just because I really like what he's doing. But of course, try to give some love to all of them, and you can really obviously get those items, but also get a really good preview on this new DLC. So that is the first one. Now moving to the second one, this one didn't have much, except announcing that on the Twitch channel of Anno, yesterday there was a stream, and we're gonna look at that just now. But more importantly, it was announcing a free weekend that will be starting on the 1st of September until the 6th. So if you have any friend out there, or if anybody here is watching that doesn't have Anno, I do suggest you try it. I mean, it's for free. There are 5 days to try it. You can even play with people who do have the game in a co-op fashion or game. So that's really great to celebrate this new DLC and to get a few new players into the game. So really don't hesitate if you don't have it yet, and don't hesitate to reach out in the comments below, if you need some help getting started. I'm sure many, including myself, will be happy to help you. This blog also shows a bit of a community spotlight, which they do every month. Some nice pictures. But let's focus on more of the meat, which is the next 2 ones. The first one was describing the game update 12, which, to remind everyone, is a free update. You don't have to buy the new DLC to actually get this update. Everybody gets it. So that's something that I also really like about Anno. Everybody gets those game updates, and those game updates don't just solve bugs. I mean, you can see at the bottom, they do solve a number of bugs that you can see here. Most of them obviously are not huge bugs that everybody is facing, but more like things that a few players have faced, and therefore it's good to fix them. But they do a lot of other things, and in particular bringing what I would call quality of life features, which is, it can appear as very small things, but for some people they are huge things. The first one is ship arrival notification. You send a ship to another region or to a place, and then you forget about it, and it's been there waiting for you. Now you can decide to actually put a notification with that bell so that you know when it comes. And I'll just show you what happens. The ship is arriving now. Now, if we look about the next one, that is the one I'm most excited about. You could use before shift to upgrade a lot of houses or residences at the same time of the same tier. And if you don't know about sort of some of those shortcuts, don't hesitate to check out the video that will appear now at the top. Now they have added one to be able to downgrade by pressing Alt. And that's really great because many times, many of us have pressed Shift on the wrong house or something like this, and then you had to manually do many houses, versus here you can see it was downgraded very quickly. Another small one that's quite interesting is when you're sending to different sessions with that button here, you can choose which island. And before you could only choose your island. Now you can also choose the NPC. That's a great thing when you want to go buy something, you can send them directly there. Not really, let's say a quality of life improvement, more a real gameplay improvement is they have new items that are going to be for the buildings of the tourist season and the high life. So things like the hotels, things like the multi-factories are going to get some new high life, which was a big feedback from the community before. This one is a small one. Here you can see only, 312 goods. If you press now this button here, you can see a bit more. That's a small one. Then some camera adjustments, some skins for the buses. And this one can be a big one. It actually wasn't perfectly working yet in the technical test, so I never talked to you about it, but now we can see it here. Is on top of the achievements that you probably all know that you see here. You now have a high score page for each of your game, where you can you basically get points or coins, gold coins, I guess, for things like your population, your income, productivity, ships, items, attractiveness, and all of these sort of rolls into this total here that is multiplied by your difficulty level to get a high score. And you can compare your high score obviously across your own sessions, but then you can also take a picture of it and send it to your friends, right? To share who's the best. What's interesting to me about this is before the main, let's say, goal of any min-maxer or any people looking for records was the population record, because that was the easy sort of target we could see, right? It was a number we had on top. Now there is a new number, and it may not, obviously we see here that the population is bringing a lot, but attractiveness also bringing some good numbers, so, and productivity and storage too. So there may be some sort of new goals where you could say, I'm gonna try to get this number as high as possible with not just the population but also other elements. So that's that's the main thing around the changes brought by this update. There is also other small elements around balancing and general improvement, but some are actually quite important. The first one is, you may have seen in previous video me talking about it, is before you didn't have to fill all of the needs of a house, for example, an artisan house, to go to engineers, because you just needed to reach the population. You need to have, for example, 40 out of something population, and then you could get to engineer or to investor, in that case of 40. And you were able to do that without all of the needs through items. Now they're saying that's no longer possible. So it's sort of taking out a small sheet, let's say. This one is to me also very big, especially if you think about the high life. We have some items in your town hall that can increase your population by 10, 20, 30%. And I was thinking, when you look at the skyscrapers that can go to more than 200 people, something like 30% is huge. But actually what they're saying now is that those 10%, 20%, 30% will only be impacting the base population of an investor house, which is basically 50, and so the 10% is 5. So it won't be 30% of the total, it will be 30% of that lower population, let's say. That does change a bit how powerful those items were. And then a last one that is quite big is corn has been added as a possible import good for the Docklands. Why is it big? Because corn is actually going to be needed a lot in some of the new goods of the high life, and therefore if you're planning to sort of maximize that those skyscrapers and things like this, and you do use the Docklands, that's going to help you a lot. Okay, and then a few other general improvements that we won't go too much into detail, but do feel free to read them. And now moving to the last one, it is basically a Gamescom summary, which is to say, if you read this blog, you may not have to watch this 1 hour stream that happened yesterday. In terms of those streams, as you can see, there is one that is German and one that is English. So that's great if you are native to one of the two languages. There is actually another stream happening today, which is a charity stream in German around the new DLC again. To be frank, actually, this summary doesn't mention everything, so you may still want to watch it, but I will cover it all. So just listening to me may be also quicker than watching this 1 hour thing. So what is this about? In the stream, they started by just showing gameplay into the new DLC. To be honest, there I didn't learn anything. Feel free to watch it, but if you've seen my previous video, you will already see everything that they've talked about. What was quite important and was definitely new is they started to discuss what comes after the high life. So what can we expect for the rest of the year and maybe also after that? So let's talk about this. First of all, they talk about the two cosmetic DLC that we knew sort of were coming this year. The first one is the pedestrian zone park. You can see some heart here. So all of these are just ornaments. Once again, it's an ornament DLC. You'll have to buy it on top even if you have season 3 and all of this, and they don't bring any gameplay. It is just to make your city a lot prettier. As you can see, there's some interesting element. We also saw some pictures of canals. So that's the first one. And the big news is we got the date, September 28th. So in just 1 month and 1 day to the time I'm recording for this first cosmetic DLC. And then the last one for this year is tentatively called Vibrant City Skin Packs. And as you can see, the skin word is quite important, right? So it is clear that this DLC or this cosmetic DLC will probably be focused on more kind of visuals. So maybe not even new buildings, but just visual of the current buildings. For example, changing the color of all your houses. They mentioned that maybe you want to do one district in one color, another district in another color, those type of things. As they say, we'll probably get more details closer to release. Probably expecting something towards November timeline. So let's see. Now getting into some other big news. First, history weeks. In autumn, there's some Anno anniversary comings, and in particular the 15 years of Anno1800. So we can probably expect some things here. Maybe for those of you who are keen to buy the history pack, maybe that is going to be on sale, those kind of things. But let's not talk too much about that. I think you all want to hear about this big end of year update, new mod, and also the season 4. I have some things to say about the season 4, so do stay tuned. So the first thing that we learned there is we will get a game update 13. And as I said earlier, those game updates are always free. You don't need to buy anything to get them. So I think that is really great, in particular to solve all of the potential bugs that we may find in the high life, right? So that's something that I'm really glad they're doing, and I think is will help a lot to keep the game alive. So that game update 13 is coming in December, and with that, something else is coming, which is the Green Game Jam. You've probably have heard about it before on the Anno Union if you're following the blog. If not, check the link that I will post in the description below. This thing was basically something that the studio created on the side first as part of the UN contest, and now they're going to release it to all players in that game update, and once again for free. So that's pretty nice and great. And as I said, this was sort of started by a contest from the UN, and the goal is sort of around sustainability, right? Planet, the sustainability of the planet, of the resources, the CO2 emission problem that we're facing, etc. And therefore, in this, you won't be able to do the min-maxer dream, right, of just having monoculturalism and rows and rows of houses. Apparently, we're going to be challenged to really be, reaching the goals. We don't really know what the goals will be, but to probably develop a city of a certain size without getting into those problems of monocultures, overfishing, depletion of resources, things like this. So that's definitely going to be something very new. And from what I understand, this is going to be sort of a new region in your games. Probably any games that you have, we can enable it, and it's a new region where we probably won't be able to do whatever we want, right? I think it's going to be quite, let's say, a linear story, but still, I'm very excited about that. I think this is something cool that we'll see later this year. And now what they're not talking about is Season 4, but they did talk about it during the stream. There was obviously a lot of comments in the chat about it, so they did talk about it. The first element is when they started showing this, some people thought this was Season 4, and they were quite clear that no, this has nothing to do with Season 4. But they actually didn't say that there wouldn't be a Season 4. They just say this has nothing to do with Season 4, which is quite different from the messages earlier this year, right? Or even last year, they were already saying, no, Season 2 is the end, we're not doing a Season 3, and then there was the Season 3 announcement. Then after that Season 3 announcement, they were saying Season 3 is the last, we're not doing a Season 4. Now what they said at the end of the stream is quite different. What they said, and I guess I'm paraphrasing a bit because I don't remember word by word, but basically they said, now that we're finishing with Season 3, we're going to look at the feedback, we're going to look, I'm sure, also at sort of the financials, how successful it has been, this Season 3, and we're gonna make a decision on Season 4, which means they are definitely considering it. It doesn't mean it's happening, but it definitely means they're considering. Is that a good news or bad news for the game? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Don't hesitate to share in the comments below or to join my Discord that you can find in the description below to discuss about it. So here it is, ladies and gents. We covered a lot of things. A new game mode that's coming, 2 new game updates, some Season 4 news, a free weekend for all of your friends out there you're still trying to convince, and a Twitch drop for all of the streamers that have access to the new DLC in early access to watch them play. Unfortunately, I didn't get that because I don't really stream, and maybe also I'm too low in terms of subscribers. So if you like my videos, don't hesitate to subscribe. That's the best way for me to get those content coming earlier to you through my videos. But to everybody who's still watching, thanks for watching, and as always, don't hesitate to press the like button, to tell me in the comments what you thought about this video, and to request new video. I'm always keen to hear about it. Okay, and hope to see you next time.